everything's in the heat of the moment, I'm thinking about what I need to do in my car and what we need to do to be successful. There's two things that I'm very passionate about. That's my family and my race car. If you mess with either one of them, I'm subject to do something about it.
You keep my daddy out of this loud man.
Your dad?
Why the hell did you do that, Plan?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Orange Bumper Podcast.
All right, welcome back. Here we are again in beautiful Citrusafe Studios. Got quite a bit to talk about. Had a big race at Wake County. We've got a racing / NASCAR / culture icon sitting here with us.
I don't know about that.
Oh, come on, you know better than that. We do want to welcome in Ryan Flores, better known as Skip. He's raced everything from, got paper airplanes to probably, I don't know. I'll probably learn everything he's run today. But did a lot with the quarter midgets, kind of where you got started. Is that right?
Yeah, still in it. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. My daughter's got one now, so we're still doing that. Still doing a little bit of everything.
Oh hell, I didn't know that. I guess that's just the thing now. When you get older, just stay in it with kids.
We're too dumb to quit.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Can't get away from it.
I'll be curious to get your input on some of the stuff that we'll talk about because you are such an accomplished racer and you've been able to see things from the very top down and then from the bottom up, which is a pretty unique perspective. We had Wake County this past week, which I was dying for modifieds to go there. It's like we talked about last time when I was there last year, Cars Tour, and when I first saw that track, I was like, oh my God, like Chris, come on, man, we gotta get here. And that track was awesome. I mean, from a fan's perspective, I don't know how you felt about it.
When we ran there, they said it was like 7 years ago when we went, and it wasn't paved. I said that the other day, it was dirt. That's not what I meant. It wasn't repaved.
Right.
But I remember it being really tight, hard to see around the corner. The grip wasn't great, but with the repave, it is drive it as hard as you can. And in a modified, you don't get many chances to drive it as hard as it'll stand it. You know what I mean? So when we got there, they had tested, a lot of guys had tested on Thursday. So we got there on Friday. Randy Renfro, that's his home track where he grew up racing. So I went to Randy and I asked him a couple questions and I said, what's a good lap time? He said on 50 lap tires yesterday, we were running 12 O's. And he said they mocked up at a 60-something, 1160-something. I said, okay. So I just needed to know kind of where we stacked up. So we go out, we unload. I went with a Bowman Gray type setup, and we unload on scuffs from Hickory, and my second lap was 1182. Car did whatever I wanted. I was like, dude, this thing is, we're going to be bad. So I come in, and we made changes just to see what it would do. Just, let's try this. So let's try that. Let's try this. After about 60 laps, I could still run me at 80s. They had a break between the practices. I had the same set of tires on. I went back out the second practice. My second lap was a 77. So, dude, we're gonna be good. We were like fifth on scuff still.
Put it on stands and nothing bolt.
Well,
let's get ready.
Yeah, that's what you think, right? So we had a set them. We put 4 tires on to mock up. We mock up, I run a 95. Cars all over the place. I'm like, what just happened? We come in, make an adjustment, go back out, 95. Make an adjustment, go back out, 95. Like, what's the deal here? Like, what's happened?
Was it tight or free?
It was free the first time, then tight the second time. It was just really weird. So, come to find out, Newman was mad about it. Coulter. There was
I heard there were several cars.
Neil was telling me that we call it the yellow 7 because there's 2 7s now. Said they did the same thing. They put stickers on and the car was just a totally different car, reacted totally different and slowed down 0.2. So I told Jamie, I said, look, just put the car back where it was. So now we're getting ready to qualify. We don't know what to do because we were free, then we're tight. So when I qualified, just plowing tight, qualified 14th, I think. So you can imagine how disheartening that is when the car, man, I could do whatever I wanted and run 80s on 60 lap tires. I was like,
you didn't look disheartened.
Happened?
You looked pissed off.
You are, but at the same time, you still got to keep focus on, we still got a race to run. Mm-hmm. So I told Jamie, I said, don't touch it. Just put it back the way we unloaded and let's just see what happens. And then as the race got going, the longer we ran, the tighter we got. So actually, and we ended up getting in a couple of different deals where we ended up in the back and come back and back and forth and back and forth. And we pit and put our sticker tire on the right front and put the right front to the right rear, and the car started to come alive. And I was actually passing, me and Danny Bone joked about it, I was passing Danny on the outside when he went to miss the wreck and slammed into me. Not his fault, but he went to miss the wreck, slammed into me, and knocked the toe end out. So I was passing Danny when it happened. So I think we probably could have had a top 3. We just had several incidents where it was just rough, man. It's just a rough track, and the nature of it creates that. But it's funny because somebody said, Wake County's wild, just like Bowman Gray. Tracks are not wild. Right. Drivers are wild.
Yeah, the track's just asphalt, just sitting there.
You know, so I think that in Wake County, I was pleasantly surprised that you could pass on the outside.
It was really fun to watch on flow. Like, I turned it on, and I love that. I love those small tracks. That's why I like going to Bowman Gray so much. Just like it's just enjoyable to watch, and you can see who figures it out. Like, I think it's so much more technical to go to places like that and to get your car to work and to see who, you know, like we saw Lambro super fast, and, you know, he was getting into his teammates spinning out, and he was up over top of the 04, and it's like he was able to come back through the field. But it's cool to see like a guy like Danny Bone. I've raced with Danny Bone since I was a kid, and I love Andretti and Terry Hall own his cars, so it's great to see them have success. But like, that's where he played the game right.
Yeah,
stayed out of trouble.
He told me he passed 2 cars all night.
That's it. Sometimes you pass more with the brake than you do with the gas.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, we ended up 6th. Had the incident that's went viral, I guess. Not much to say about it. I said kind of what I needed to say after the race, and I stand to that. And every video on social media and everybody sitting in the stands saw the same thing that I said was true. I got squeezed. And had it been a bumper, you know, you roll out. But when you're up to a guy's door, you can't roll out. And he squeezed me down. I think kind of what I'm putting together as time has gone on, I think Jake was probably trying to get back to the 45. I'm hearing now that they had a problem with each other. So he was probably hell-bent on trying to get back to the 45 car and just trying to make a hole. But I don't have a problem with Jake. I just wish Jake had watched the video before he did his interview, because I think now he's probably regretting what he said. But listen, it's Wake County. It's just like Bowman Gray. You're going to have contact. You're going to have problems. What I was trying to say in my interview is everything we went through and still rebounded to 6th. With the toe end knocked out, strut rod bent, ball joint bent, and still got back to 6th. If Jake had been smart, he could have probably drove back through the field and salvaged because his comment was, cost us a good points night. Well, you cost yourself a good points night by doing what you did. But anyway, listen, like I said, there's stuff on YouTube that I'm not proud of.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like,
we've all been there.
I've raced with Jake for a long time, since Legend Cars, and I've always paid attention to Jake just because Jake the Snake Crum, man. Like, we raced when we were younger, and I've always paid attention to him through late models and through modifieds, and have that relationship with Justin Link, and Link works for them. And I've always respected Jake, but I do see him have, like, he's always been a fiery competitor. And I wonder if you deal with that more than like I would or somebody else would, just because of the highlights on YouTube and the years of Bowman Gray. Like it's, and I think a lot of the stuff, I tell this to a lot of people, because racing Bowman Gray last year, they're like, you're crazy. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm pretty safe, because like a lot of that stuff is generational hatred that they have towards each other. They kind of leave me alone, and I kind of stay out of it, but I just like sitting there and listening to the drivers' meetings and see what's going on. But, you know, people see that, and they see different instances throughout the years that have gone viral, and they automatically like, oh, this is my chance. Like, he did that, I'm going to do this to him. I wonder if you have to deal with that more often than other people.
Now
do.
that you say that, probably so. Just like they're what was the big thing they said? The Bowman Gray. We got Bowman Gray at Wake County. Bowman Gray at Wake County. And right after the Madhouse show, we would go to races, and they would say the Madhouse show has come to our track.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it.
It was fun. That was a fun show, man. It was good for everybody.
I get it. Like I said, I sitting here right now, I don't have a problem with Jake. Like I said, I think he's probably regretting his interview that he did. And as race car drivers, our egos don't let us, apologize or say we did wrong. Right. And like we were talking about before we got started, as the older you get, that kind of changes a little bit. If I screw up, I'll tell you, hey man, I screwed up. But I don't have a problem with Jake.
One thing that I've come to learn with you is if you know you are 100% right, there is zero ability to say, well, have you looked at it from this point? Like, if you know you're right, you'll die on the mountain fighting.
I will.
But you know, if you feel like, you know, well, man, I'm 90%, you know, I'm 90% right. Like I this little thing I did mess up. To your point, like, you know, probably 15 years ago, that you know may or may not have been the conversation.
I try to be empathetic, man. I try to see all sides, and if I don't, here's the thing: if you don't know 100% that you're right, and you stand up on that soapbox, and then they prove you wrong, you look pretty stupid.
That's a times 2 embarrassment.
Well,
yeah.
a lot
So
of
my
times.
thing is I don't stand on that soapbox unless I know I'm right. And in this situation, I know I'm right. He started squeezing me halfway down the backstretch. And if you watch my in-car, you see the smoke from my right front tire. And you see me down on the flat. I mean, there's no mistaking it. It was hard racing. I don't think Jake thought to himself, I'm going to run Bert in the inside wall. That's not what he thought. Mm-hmm. He was just racing hard to try to get back to the bottom. But at the same time, you got to own it. But either way,
You don't know, like a lot of times when you're like, a lot of people think that haven't raced or driven that, like, you know exactly what's going on. Like they see your car, like you would see it on NASCAR 98, like zoomed out, you know exactly where the car's going. A lot of time in the car, you have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, I don't know. Like I got to watch it. I got to digest it. And then I coached my daughter's like soccer teams and softball teams. I had to go to like training to be a coach, and they teach you how to deal with like parents that are mad. And there was like a 24 or 48 hour rule. And I'm like, man, they should have all the race car drivers do this training. Because like a lot of times too, like even if nobody was wrong and it was a racing incident, in that moment, you're too mad to even see straight. So you, like, that's where I just try to leave and give it a day or two. And that's, it's hard to do though.
It's hard, man. Racing is one of the few sports that doesn't have a cool down period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that Flo sticks a microphone in your mouth. So like right
it's
after,
part of the entertainment.
Because it builds, and now people are talking about it, right? And even if you and Jake talk and hash it out, don't tell anybody.
Right.
Like let them watch the next week.
Just like me and Ricky at the Clash.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with Ricky, but it was sure fun playing that game. And then we did a skit about it. And I mean, you know, it was fun. I knew that here's exactly what happened with me and Jake. Is exactly what happened with me and Ricky. I tried to make a hole. Yeah. And it didn't work. And I got turned around and put in the fence. That's what happened with me and Ricky. I thought Ricky might let me have the.
Somebody should have told you.
No.
There's a couple here. It's probably not one.
Right. But me and Jake were the same way. Tried to make a hole and it didn't work. Yeah. And it was just racing. You know, I'm not mad at Jake for trying to make a hole. I was upset with him for showing his butt and running back into my race car whenever it was his fault.
You know what?
But like you said, you're heated. It's in the moment. You know, in his mind, he might have thought, at the time, that I did turn him.
From somebody that doesn't hold a steering wheel, but understanding, especially at Bowman Gray, it's everybody against the Myers. You say what you want to, it is. If anybody runs into you, everybody applauds the other people. With that being said, there were so many people on social media, on Flo's stuff, that were saying, "Hey, not a Bert fan."
I saw some of those. You were sending me some of those, yeah.
You know, and after a while, you kind of just got to be like, yeah, maybe I took a bite out of a sandwich I didn't take a bite out of. But
yeah, it's all right.
You're used to dealing with that.
You read the comments?
Some. They'll send me some stuff sometimes, and I just, you know, I never comment or never. Yeah. I learned a long time ago, like when Facebook. I told you back in the day when Steven's the brand manager here, and Steven said, "We got to get a Facebook page." I said, "No, I don't want to." He said, "No, we have to." I said, "I don't want to." He said, "Yeah, we have to." So I see some of it, but you know what? I learned a long time ago, and I've made this comment. I said I was going to make a T-shirt for it. The people who know the least say the most.
Yeah, they always cheer the loudest from the
The best
seats.
one is there was somebody showed me a comment that said it's clearly because I guess Jake was number one, right? So it said it's clear in the video Bert came down and chopped him and spun himself out because they thought I was in the other car.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
This guy,
yeah, exactly.
It looked like the same. I was like, look at these guys, it's the same car running into each other.
But my point is the guy thought I was in the one up top. Yeah. Why comment if you don't know for sure what you're talking about?
Everybody against the Myers. Everybody against Bert.
Anyway.
It is what it is.
Anyway, but talking about Wake County is an awesome show. I hope we go back. I think next time we go, now that we got one under our belt, people will kind of maybe race a little different.
Yeah.
Calm down a little bit. Because you know yourself, I think you experienced it, but I think you're different because you didn't come in. There's one of the cool things I respected about you. You didn't come in like a typical outsider into Bowman Gray. A lot of guys who come into Bowman Gray, they have a chip on their shoulder and they race the way. The only thing they know about Bowman Gray is what they've seen and they've heard. And they come in and thinking you got to, and run people wide and you got to do this. And that's what you do at Bowman Gray is you run them out wide. And you didn't do that. And a lot of people, I think, at Wake County had that same mentality. This is a bull ring. This is a Bowman Gray on steroids. Yeah. And they raced it that way. And you didn't have to. Yeah. You didn't have to. So I'm hoping now that we got one under our belt, it'll be a little better, a little calmer show next time. But it was a fun racetrack, really fun racetrack.
I love what the Smart Tour is doing and their schedule. Like I think that there's so many cool tracks in the Southeast that a lot of people don't get to see. And I think Wake County is one of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of just going somewhere once. Like remember the modified tour used to be like a Thompson and Stafford, and then maybe they'd go to Riverhead twice in New Hampshire. And now it's so broad. There's a lot of really good racetracks. And I think the tours like that do good for the racetrack, just like, the racetrack does good for the tour. Where are other tracks that you wish they'd go?
They've hit. When you think about the Southeast, they've hit many tracks that, maybe not just Smart, but tracks that I've been able to race at in the Southeast. Like we went to Kingsport and places like that. Smart hasn't been there, but we went there with the Como Tour back in the day. But there's some really cool racetracks out there. And I think that's one of the things that Chris has tried to do is when we first started the tour back up, we went to Caraway 3 times.
Yeah.
And now we go to Caraway 2 times.
When I used to come down here for the Smart Tour back in the day with Hot Pockets, it was like, we'd go to Caraway every time.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going to Franklin County and I have a 602 car, but then I saw like a bunch of highlights of people fighting on the front stretch, and I was like second guessing myself. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do there. Some guy was in flip flops. I don't know what it was.
Excuse me, I did have flip flops on that night. That was an incident that
I don't think anybody was in the right or anybody was in the wrong. I think it was just too much stuff going on with the officials, and they ran out of speedy dry. There was a lot going on.
It was a lot, man. And to that point you were talking about a while ago, last year when we went back, I found that guy. And I said, hey, man, are we cool? He was like, I'm cool if you are. I said, look, that was my kid. And my kid's on the radio screaming. There's a grown man poking a flag and cussing him.
Yeah.
I lost it. Yeah. I didn't lose it, but I was pretty upset.
If you're not a parent, you understand.
When it's you, that's one thing. But when my 15-year-old's on the radio, Dad, get down here. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And I told the guy, I said, look, it was my kid. He said, I'll be honest, I didn't know that was a 14-year-old kid in there. Yeah. That's what he told me. And I said, look, we shook hands, we're good.
Yeah.
And you're going to have that in racing.
That's it.
Period. But Franklin County is a fun racetrack.
Yeah.
It is a fun racetrack. So
the first time I went there, I asked, I forget who it was. I said, what's the secret to this track? And they said, if you can't throw your nuts over your shoulder, you don't need to be here.
What's Downforce Danny say?
Put them on the dash. Put them on the dash.
Yeah. It's a lot like Wall Stadium's that way. You went to Wall. Like growing up there, you don't realize what you have until you go other places. And I'm like, man, this place, when I finally raced a tour car there, and I'm like, oh, this place is way smaller than what I ever knew. Yeah. Like racing legend cars and street stocks and even like 602 modifieds there, it's one thing, but then you get in there with a tour mod and you're like, whoa. And that place is shaped like a velodrome. It was built after a velodrome. You've been there. You never raced Turkey Derby? I thought you went.
Oh, yeah. I went to Wall Stadium one time. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I loved it. I sat on the pole.
Yeah. I remember that. I do remember that.
Sure did.
But it's crazy. It's really tight, really cool place to race. But that's why I'm like, I talked to Jimmy and he blew it. And I'm like, yeah, if you can get around there and muscle it, you can do pretty good other places. So Franklin County seems a little bit like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to go there here at the end of the month, the end of May.
It's fun. It's one of those where there's no resting. Yeah. You're hustling all the way down.
I'm all about that.
All the way down the straightaway.
Do you think the modifieds would put on a good race at Nashville? As big and as fast as it is, I just don't see.
We went to the fairgrounds. The Smart Tour went to the fairgrounds one time, and when we went, I just remember there wasn't much grip, and I wasn't a fan of it. I sat on the pole, but I finished like 8th.
Bumpy as hell, too.
We are Citrusafe, where good grilling is made better. We have prided ourselves in being the industry pioneer for safe grill cleaners. Our citrus-powered grill cleaner spray, nylon bristle brushes, and pads is all you need when it comes time to safely clean your grill. We strive to not only save you fuel, but also avoid the dangers associated with ingesting metal wire grill brushes. Citrusafe is available at all major retailers nationwide and online on Amazon.com. Citrusafe, the proud sponsor of the Orange Bumper podcast.
the reason that full body cars can put on a better show at a Myrtle Beach or a Nashville or something like that is because that harder tire, they can drive it harder. And believe it or not, even at a track that size, aero does matter. When you got a full body, that helps too.
They all had a tough time passing each other there when I watched the highlights because you'd get air. You get behind somebody and just lose all the downforce.
And you wouldn't think so, but I mean, we talked about with being Gable, and I said, modified, there's no aero in a modified. He said, well, go 35 miles an hour and put your hand out the window.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah.
So it does matter, but
didn't they do some testing at Rockingham too?
I think.
And they said the modified was too fast.
Didn't Savali in the
It's gonna take
79
flight or
they
something?
tested
I
there
know. Well,
with the Hillbillies? I
think they tested Rockingham, but I don't know if it was Little Rock because you guys were
they
supposed to
did
race
test the
Little
Little
Rock.
Rock, but I think they tested the big
Several
track.
years ago, they tested the big track, and from what I remember, the comment was basically they're afraid the car will take flight.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's fat. Like Corey, and I noticed it when we went back this year. I hadn't been, but with the repave, he says it's Dover with the dog leg.
Yeah.
And it's probably a little bit too fast for what we do and what we have built around us. Don't get me wrong, it'd be fun. I went to Wilkesboro last year and practice qualified 39 car, and I'd never been on a track that big. I don't even know why I said yes to it, but I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I went out the first time and I was like, oh man, this is big. You're really on the gas here a lot. And they're like, all right, get up to speed. And I'm like, just give me a couple laps. And they took me. That's the kind of my problem with not racing them a lot is like I don't really go out and bust a fast lap off, but then I'll figure it out like 5-6 laps in. But it was so much fun because there's so much racetrack in the way. I got behind Jack Baldwin and I was like, okay, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
But like figuring out that place is so big, but it's so narrow how you have to pass each other and move each other up. And there's just so many cool racetracks that with the car stores doing and the smart tours doing, it's really cool to see a lot of these racetracks come to life and be full of people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like going to different tracks. The diversity.
Are they going to come? Are they going to bring the 199 back to Bowman Gray or what?
I don't know.
Have you heard that? I don't know, but I wish they'd run. I wish they would. I'd go run it, and I wish they. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a tour race there. People figure it out. I like that. It'd
be cool. It'd definitely be cool. I know that back in the day, I've heard Bowman Gray management kind of say, bringing in another series doesn't really help. How can I say this? Now that NASCAR's involved, yes, you might see that because it's a whole different ball game. But back when there was a family involved, sort of a corporation, it was always said that, well, why do we need to bring in a series and pay this big purse when our stands are already packed and our fields are already full? And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
As
From
a business
standpoint,
that makes
I
sense
get
to
it.
me. But at the same time, with NASCAR coming in and NASCAR being a corporation where money's not really an object anymore, I think it'd be really cool to bring other series.
They said there will be a touring series that comes for the next 3 years. Technically, that could be.
You could be ARCA, you could be trucks.
Right,
I mean,
but I'm saying that they could also, to me, modifieds make the most sense.
Yeah.
I thought the K&N races were great. Like, I enjoyed watching Corey win and pull in an open trailer with the boys get out and kick everybody's ass, But there was a lot of damn damage. Like,
it's going to be.
But I think the modifieds would be best suited for that.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Bowman Gray, so I started coming to North Carolina. We weren't old enough to race in New Jersey. You had to be 18. So Hot Pockets, Brian Kramer, we all raced out of the Quonset Hut at Blue Ridge Junkyard. So he had a car there, and we'd come down. His stepdad was Tony DePonte, who was Pat DePonte, who was racing down here in the 40 car. So we would come down, and we would come down in a conversion van and a 20-foot quarter midget trailer. I remember going to Caraway the first time, and they were like, we went to go pull across track. They're like, Legend cars park in the back. And we're like, no, we're modified. The guy's like, there ain't no modified fit in there. And he opened the door. He's like, all right, go ahead in. And I remember how cool it was, parking next to Bob Park and just being part of that. Because as I was 14 or 15 years old. It was really cool to just be down here.
Yeah.
And it was way different than what we were used to in New Jersey, because New Jersey racing is run by the state police. There's a lot of rules. And that was with everybody. Everybody backed up to the fence, and it looked like you were driving off into the Confederate Army down there. I thought it was crazy how Caraway was there in the one. Everybody kind of parked on the backstretch. But we went to Bowman Gray the first time, and I was like, look at this place. It was so cool because it was in the middle of the city. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I remember getting booed and getting called a Yankee, which I thought was awesome. And Brian, I think Brian did a good job. I don't remember where he finished, but we always had fun coming around the smart tour. Never won one. We got close. But my biggest takeaway was watching your father light a cigarette under caution at Langley. Under red flag, I was standing down in the corner. And I'm like, I believe Gary Myers just lit a cigarette from his race car. He's just sitting there
He had to push
burning
in,
one
He had
down.
to push in lighter on
Yeah.
the dash.
I was standing there watching him at Langley. It was red flag. I could bring you right to the spot. And I was like, I saw that and I'm like, you ain't Jersey anymore, buddy. This is way different.
What, now that you've had a chance to race at the stadium, what's your good, bad, and everything in between opinion of, I mean, the stadium as a whole, the way they run the show, and the modifieds?
Yeah, I think, the way Gray runs the show and the way that he handles stuff is really good. Like, I think that's one of the reasons. I've always had a heart for wanting to be a promoter one day or take over a racetrack. So it was kind of more of a case study of just going and checking out how they do stuff. And Gray, there's so many big personalities there and just polarizing figures. He does a great job of managing that and kind of getting everybody on the same page. And when I felt bad, Austin, his first ever drivers meeting, like, he just got barraged because they had closed the pit gate for a minute or so. And I was like, oh man, welcome to the show. I just kind of sat back and watched it. But the way that they defuse situations, do all that from a personnel and a management side, they do really well. The racetrack itself, I love most things I race. I hate practice and qualifying. I hate chasing a stopwatch, but I love it at Bowman Gray because it's so hard to get your car right. It's like everybody wants to make it out to be this crash fest, but when you're working on your race car, your car has to go. You have to have a drive. It has to stop good, so you got to have good brakes, and it's got to turn the center and still have drive. So you have so many different options. And with the modifieds, the big thing's the top link. I went through like 5 different top links in 4 weeks last year, just trying to figure out how to get drive in the car. And that is the most fun part to me there. The races, qualifying so difficult. I don't love. I understand it, but I don't love no transponder because, like, I want to know. You come back in and you're the fastest guy that's ever been there, or you're 3/10 off, and it's all in the same lap, right? So I would like that, but I understand why they do it. And I whenever I didn't qualify good, I just say that they missed it on the stopwatch. It's easy to blame, right? But the races are like what I realize is like the racing's really not bad, but when you get in there, a lot of times you like get up over somebody's Nerf bar and it spins you out. And you'll see guys that kind of make moves that are aggressive. And I've done that. Like you kind of get in a little hot, especially into 3. You're kind of there, but you're expecting that guy, like you're committed.
Yeah.
He's committed to coming down and you wreck. I thought the racing was good. It gets a little bit bogged down because you get single file and you can't do much. That's where I felt like with the full fender cars, you can kind of move each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like the Cup cars and the O'Reilly cars now, where like the O'Reilly cars can manipulate each other.
Right.
With the modified, you're just like a sledgehammer or a slide hammer. You just run into each other and you push that guy forward and it's just accordions. But I had a lot of fun. The restarts are great. And the choosing where you're going to restart and figuring out how to get through 1 and 2 and to get down or move that guy up, like, and then watching ahead for the wreck. I loved it. There was a couple things like, I got waved to the outside one time and stuffed in the fence. And then last year with your deal in the 10 car, when I got tore up, like that type of stuff, like I feel like if you're going to wreck somebody, wait for the moment to wreck them.
Right.
Don't like that rubbed me the wrong way because, they, waited and they tore a bunch of cars up. And that I was kind of only had like 2 races left, tore my car up and I was just kind of over it. So I was like, we just called it for the rest of the year. So it kind of ruined our experience for what it was. But I don't know. I don't think you go there to not tear stuff up. And everybody always goes, man, why are you going there? You're going to wreck your car. I'm like, well, you ever hit the fence at Stafford?
Right.
Like you're going to wreck way less at Bowman Gray.
Right.
Or at Wall Stadium. Like you were going way faster, but it's been great. The fans have been great. And like, what's crazy is I've been racing for 30 years, since 31 years now, or 32 years since I was 5 years old. And I went to a softball tournament. My daughter plays softball, and I was at this tournament, and this guy was from up here, and he's like, I seen you race Bowman Gray. I saw you win that race at New Smyrna. Like, we go to Bowman Gray every week. So there's such a good following there.
Yeah.
And and it was cool to steer the 79. Like, nobody's ever given me an opportunity to drive their modified.
Yeah.
David Hill gave me that opportunity. And it was a lot of fun to go racing with them. They're a lot of fun to race with. So, and we did a lot of growing together, help Derek grow and kind of lean more into a crew chief role and work on like, hey, I trust you. This is how I do it. This is bouncing stuff off each other. And we had some good runs. There was a couple that I felt like we had an opportunity to win. We run second a couple times and got to go, duke it out with you guys in the 200. Even our first race, I was up there in between you and Tim.
Yeah.
And Hot Pockets, it was funny because he was spotting for me and I was running second. And he's like, man, I think you got to pick the inside here. I think you got to pick the inside. Tim's going to flush it. And we came to the restart zone and I just pulled to the top. I go, winners choose the front row.
That's
Pockets.
right.
I don't know how you're used to racing.
Right.
And I jumped the first one you said. I was like, I'm going to jump it. So he has to sit there and wait on me once. But it was a lot of fun, man. And I didn't have any. The only guy I had to call to bitch at was Jason.
My brother, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I would have been the points leader after I ran the first 4 weeks and I would have been the points leader. And I got like, something happened and I don't know. He's like, he teed me up in the one and just spun me out. I was running fourth. Like, and I was like, what was that? I was like, did something happen there? Like, no, he just teed you up and spun you out. So I would race on Saturday night, hour and 10-minute drive home and be on a plane at 6 o'clock in the morning going to the cup race, change tires. So I would just change and slide out the back door and I was gone. And I called him and he's like, man, he gave me that Walnut Cove charm. Oh man, I'm happy you called. I said, out of all the dumb mofos at Bowman Gray, why am I calling you for? And he's like, I felt like you got me a little close to the fence on the exit. I'm like, so you didn't hit the fence, right? He's like, nah. I'm like, dude, you KO'd me.
I remember y'all talking about
and he
it.
was like, yeah, that's my bad. So I was like, all right, I got the 4-car in my sights next
But
time.
he owned it. I'll give him that. He owned it.
Oh yeah, no, he was cool.
I remember
about it.
y'all. I didn't know it happened, and I remember them talking about it. So.
Yeah, but it was just funny. I had all the guys that you get a reputation here. I didn't think you'd be my first call, but yeah, it was. I have nothing bad. I had a great time, and we're gonna go back this year and run. I think we can run the last 3 out of 4.
Okay.
So because you got to run the 150 and I changed tires in the O'Reilly series now, so Saturdays it makes it challenging.
Right.
So I think there's a couple off weeks there in August, and it allows us to run the 150, and then you got to run a race before.
You have to run a race before the 150.
Look, man, you're not just going to show up anywhere and win. You got to be working on it. You got to be figuring the tire out. You got to put the work in. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Legends or whatever. You got to put the work in to go win. So we're excited to get back out
good.
there.
And contrary
You
to,
gonna run your car?
Yeah, I remember my
Cool.
car. Yep.
Yeah.
contrary to a lot of people's opinion that have never been there or never raced there, you can race there.
You can. Oh yeah.
It's not just, who can take who out. Although there are people there that believe that's the only way to race.
Well, it's not about. That's not what it's about. It's not about. That's how they want to race. A lot of people play the short game. They want to get famous quick,
Well, yeah.
and the way to get famous quick is cause controversy.
Yeah.
If you want to get famous in the long game, win some races.
Yeah.
Win some races.
true.
And what bothers me is there's guys out there who are fast. They're good drivers. They got good cars, but they don't utilize their what they have to win races. You go this week and you finish second. You go this week, you finish fifth. You go this week, you finish third. Well, all of a sudden, you want to run into somebody because you hadn't got your fix yet.
Right.
Keep working hard and keep winning races, trying to win races. That's how you get acknowledged. But it's turned into, what can I do to get on TV?
Well, let me ask you
With
this.
the social media and flow and all that stuff. That's what it's turned into.
Because I've never asked you this before. With all the guys that have run there for a long time, the families, the guys that show up every week and they have for years and years and years, there's got to be some sort of unwritten rule among that group that there is a correct way to do things and there's an incorrect way to do things. Do you think when you have drivers that come over there that just act like jackasses, do you think the group as a whole will fix that?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that.
And that means I asked a good question.
Well, I think that, let me say this. The guys that are being jackasses know they're being jackasses. They know what they're doing. It's not like, they know what they're doing. When you're on the outside of a guy and he runs you out 2 lanes wide, he knew he did it. And sometimes you cook the corner and you get, that's one thing. But even one of the families you're talking about who's been there for a long, long time, I restarted on the outside of him in the 200, and we ran side by side for 2 laps, and in the 3rd lap, he carried me out. He knew he did it. And there's a video of his spotter communication saying, take his lane, take his lane, take his lane. that bothers me because people, back in the day, I drove, I was a butthole. I did. I'd knock you out of the way. I'd run you out wide. And it wasn't because I was being a butthole. It's because I was trying to do whatever I could to win the race. And then you figure out you can race. And if a man clears me on the outside, he earned it. He earned it. But I don't run into people just to run into people.
Right.
I don't. And like I said in my video with Smart Tour, it's just like a Duke Carolina game. If you're a big fan of Duke, you see it one way. If you're a fan of Carolina, you see it the other way. If you're a fan of mine, you see it one way. If you're a fan of somebody else, you see it another way. So there's people are going to say, Bert's one of the dirtiest, or Bert's one of this, or Bert's one of that. I don't run into people just to run into people. I run into you because you deserved it. If you get run into, if I run into you, it's because you had it coming.
Man, last year,
Period.
I had enough one night. I don't know what happened. It was like one of the twin 25s didn't go my way, or I just missed the invert and I was over it. And you were struggling with something, and he was waving his hand out the window, and I'm like, not today. Pow, pow. He's like waving. I'm like, if something's wrong, pull off. I'm going forward. I've had enough of everybody's shit. And then something must have broke because you pulled off, but you're like waving. I'm like, I don't care.
Oh, I think that's
care.
when my balance bar broke, and my pedal was going to the floor. It was,
Yeah, because you were really back in the corner up, and I'm like, I don't care, dude. Don't wave. I'm going. I've had enough of everybody. I'm sorry you're the one in front of me. But I've sacrificed enough front bumpers. I'm going to the front.
Well, so question for both of you. What is, as you sit here right now, what is more important to you? Winning or respect among your competitors?
Well, I think that it's two separate conversations, because winning is always what you do the most, is the most important. And I think that, like Bert said, no matter what you do, you could win every race you ever run and never touch anybody. There's going to be people that don't like you or don't respect you.
or you cheated to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody
and that's fine. I used to always wanted to prove everybody wrong. And I think there's a lot of racers that go to the racetrack to prove people wrong, or I'm going to get him. I don't do that. I do it for me and my family and my friends that come with me. And if what I do, the way I do, if I'm true to myself and I can respect myself and go to bed at night, and sleep, as the man I am, then that's fine by me. And everybody else can make an opinion, and that's fine. But as long as I stay true to myself and my beliefs, if I can win while doing that, then that's great. And look, sometimes things get a little dirty to win a race, right? But you have to be able to be a man and live up to that. Don't hide from it, or don't try to blame the other guy. So every situation's unique, and you find yourself. There's a lot of times it's like that meme, like, I bet you're wondering how I ended up here. Like, I find every time you go race, there's always I bet that's what you were thinking at Wake County when you were getting smashed into. Like, damn, like, why again? Like, I was just trying to stay out of the news and have good points tonight. As long as there's always, I think in any of those big moments, there's always an opportunity to be a good person or have character. And I just want to do that. Like, when the microphone gets stuck in your mouth, maybe it's not fun. Maybe I'd have more followers if I said the clickbaity thing, but I want to be true to myself and be like, hey, I don't know. Like, it's not a sexy answer, but I haven't seen it yet. I was sitting in the seat. I didn't see. Right. I don't know what happened. We're going to have to talk about it. But there also comes a point when someone races you enough where you're like, all right, we're going to go roll around on the ground. Yeah, it's like, enough's enough. Yep. So
I've been there a few times, and I got a feeling it's coming again.
It happens.
Yeah, because my car seems to have a bunch of targets on it for some reason, and I'm getting pretty tired of it. So the last thing I want to do is tear up race cars or fight. But
I had a great
line in the sand.
It's funny because me and a buddy, I haven't been going to the gym as much lately as I used to. I used to go 3 or 4 days a week, but my buddy Patrick takes that Taekwondo stuff, and I've been messing around with him. And it's actually pretty cool. And what's scary about it is when you're messing around with stuff like that, is kind of like equivalent to maybe a concealed permit. And what do they teach you in a concealed permit? Don't pull it out for show. Pull it out when you're ready to use it. Well, there's sometimes you want to pull it out and use it. And so I'm kind of getting to that point where, man, what if I pulled this out and used it? So it's pretty fun. It's actually pretty fun.
That'd be a
man.
hell of a highlight. You spin and heel kick somebody in the
So-
middle.
Yeah, right.
But at the same
Dana White
time,
would
you
be
don't.
calling.
At the same time, you don't pull it out till you have to use it. But last thing, listen, because I've been thinking about listening to you talk and thinking about what I said a while ago. There are, when I say I don't run into people unless they deserve it, right? But at the same time, you're running second and you got to rough a guy up because he's a lot slower than you. That's not running into him. That's hard racing.
Yeah.
The running into part is when I've always said, this is back in the day of when me and Junior used to wreck each other and go at each other and God knows what else. But when you overdrive your car to run into a guy, that's where you cross the line. Okay.
Yeah.
And just like my saying on my Facebook page, if you're using your back bumper to keep me behind you, it's my job to use my front bumper to get past you. If you're fast enough, I can't get to your back bumper.
Yeah.
So whenever I give you a shot and then you start slowing down to protect the bottom and keep me behind you, it's my job to work you to get past you. So that kind of stuff's going to happen. That's just hard racing.
And that's the typical Bowman Gray
That's
thing. Like
Bowman
people
Gray.
plant you right in the infield, especially with the rumble strips now. I bet it was even worse before the rumble strips, but like you get, and we're all running so low that you get down the rumble strips, rip the nose off the car.
Yeah.
Like it's really tough. Then you got guys kind of let their left rear in the grass. It throws it up there. But a funny thing, I was talking to a multi-time Bowman Gray champion last year, and he was like, buddy, around here, you know, you mess around, you get punched in the nose. And he was just talking, and I said, yeah, I retired from fighting at the racetrack when I was 18, buddy. I grew up at Blue Ridge Junkyard. We used to go to fight and end up racing. He's like, you grew up up
fight
there?
on your lunch break.
You're from the Blue. You grew up at the Blues? I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, trust me. Like first guy I punched was Harry Reid when I was 14 years old because I had to.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, I didn't realize that. I was like, yeah, don't want the NASCAR all polished stuff working for race teams. Like, but I think that's why I am the way I am now because it was. From the time I was like 15 to 18, that was a wild couple of years. And Jimmy would get kicked out of wall. And me, him, and Trey Tamano would just jump in the toter and go to like race at Chemung and Tioga. Like, and that was even crazier. Terry Zacharias beating people up. Like, it was nuts. So I saw a lot of that stuff. And when I started my own race team, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit more on the calm side of it because I had been through all the craziness of the junkyard and watching John, like, dude, I watched John jump on the hood of people's race cars and rip the spark plug wires out. One time he did it, the guy started to take off. He grabbed the throttle linkage and held it wide open. Like, he was crazy. So, yeah.
I've heard some of them stories.
Yeah.
That's pissed right there.
Dude, them guys, I'm telling you, that junkyard, like the first time I ever walked in, this is funny. So I was racing a 4-cylinder. My dad loved my father, but when I was like 13, like 12, 13, when I was kind of becoming a man, my dad had gotten just really bad into addiction, like drugs, alcohol, like there was no saving him. And my parents had got divorced, kind of a broken home. And I moved, I was racing a 4-cylinder Pinto at Mahoning Valley. I just kind of graduated from quarter midgets. I blew the motor, and we brought it to the Blue Ridge Junkyard because I literally went out, pulled the motor out of a Pinto in the junkyard, got it built, and put it in my car there. But the first time that I went there, Richie Evans Jr. and Jimmy Blewett were arguing in the back, and John had enough. They were going back and forth. They used to fight like cats and dogs. And John was just the most normal looking human you've ever seen in your life. Like, he didn't look like he had superhuman strength or anything. He took like a 3-ton shop jack and threw it like a Frisbee across the shop, laying down because he had just had enough of them arguing. And I was like, this is crazy. And then when my dad and my mom split up not long after that, I just kind of moved into Blue Ridge Junkyard to get away from all that. And I just wanted to work on race cars. So I was just thrust into that life. But man, that's all I ever, like, if you asked 14-year-old, 15-year-old me, like, what do you want to be when you get older? I'm like, I want to run one of the pieces of equipment at the junkyard and drive modifieds at Wall Stadium. That's it.
Yeah.
So life had taken me a different route, but that was it for me. And it was so cool. And there were so many great racers, like the Timmy Ayers of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Truexes were there. And we would go with Jimmy. I'd go work for him every Saturday night. And it was just it was a blast, man. But it was absolutely insane for those 5 years. I didn't realize what I was doing. And I get those vibes when I come to Bowman Gray now. Like, that kind of relive that. And, there's that much excitement around it every week.
What do you think? And you mentioned the polished NASCAR side, and I understand that comment, as most people do. What do you think that NASCAR could take from the show that Bowman Gray puts on that might help NASCAR?
Yeah, I think they're leaning more into it now. Just letting guys be themselves. I think you see it with Carson, right? And there's been it's not so like you can't put it all on NASCAR, right? Everybody talks about NASCAR, but when you go, hey, it's NASCAR's fault. Well, it's like who? It's just people that run it. It's just a business that's run by people. It's not this big conglomerate headquarters that's fighting against every racer that's ever lived. It's just people making decisions. And a lot of times, like you said, the older we get, you realize that just a 10-minute long conversation, you understand more about, okay, why did that happen? Well, there's a lot more going on at NASCAR than we all think. But I think letting guys be themselves, and there's so much money in race teams and their businesses, and they have so much wrapped up in the drivers, but they've done a great job of getting, like, they have this driver ambassador program where you see the drivers doing way more stuff than they used to because now they're getting incentives because of it. And then you got guys like Carson that come along. You need an antagonist like him, and he's got a team that lets him be himself, right? So like the teams also can be some of the problem sometimes where they don't let them be themselves, and there's no incentives for the driver. Like if you do good on a Saturday night, you might sell out of T-shirts.
Yeah.
Where the drivers don't really have much of a percentage of that anymore. So Kyle Larson probably makes more selling T-shirts at a sprint car race than he does at a NASCAR race. Yeah. So for NASCAR to understand that and go, okay, how do we incentivize these drivers to do more for the sport? And I think like last Saturday at Talladega when I was there with Cleetus almost winning, Andy J, who's my indoor rival, winning the race was really cool. And then they had Jason Kelsey who was in the pit box next to us, handing him gas cans. The vibes were so high. And then it carried over into Sunday. Like how cool was that to even watch? Like I don't remember the last time, like I got goosebumps watching Hocevar celebrate. Like it was so cool. Yeah. And it was cool for all the kids that grew up racing quarter midgets and late models for him to get there. I think NASCAR's in a really good spot, and it's really exciting where it's heading. But letting guys be themselves and not pulling back the reins too much is, I think, where you can. I think Bowman Gray does that really well.
I think NASCAR as a whole really needed Hocevar to win.
Yeah.
Just like they need Kyle to win. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Hocevar win. I was not surprised that his burnout and everything. And I'm sure y'all were doing the same thing we were doing.
I'm still trying to figure out. I know he's tall and lanky. I'm still trying to figure out how he was getting to that gas pedal while he was sitting on that door
I think
jam.
he said he had to go over the steering column.
Over?
He went left foot. Yeah. So it must have been left side. Because there's a lot of you got leg break, knee knockers.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff in there.
We were sitting up, my wife and I were sitting at home watching it. And I knew what he was trying to do.
I thought he was going to give up. I thought he was going to give up. He stalled it twice. I was like,
Speaking of too dumb to quit, he's there.
When he started going down to the inside wall, I'm like, he don't ruin this moment.
Yeah.
Like, don't tear your stuff up. And then he gets it going, and you could tell he got a little bit more confident and started going a little faster. Well, then as it starts to end and he comes up to the wall, the thought never crossed my mind he's wanting to do a burnout. I was like, he can't stop.
He
can't stop. Too. He can't stop. And this is gonna be a disaster. And then as soon as he makes contact with the wall and I'm getting ready to make a smart ass comment, he starts burning it down. I'm like, oh, son.
But you know what's cool about what I think as a racer, what's cool about that is he didn't do that for show. He did that because he was that excited that he just won his first cup race.
Yes.
That's why he did it.
Yes.
He didn't do that to, let me try to get clicks. He did it because he was that excited. So I thought it was pretty cool.
That was a perfect place for him to win.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
If he'd have caught that beer, that would have been sick.
Yes, I know. But you can see him eyeballing it the whole time.
He's a perfect example of like, man, when he first came in, he was fast right away. How many people wanted to clip his nuts?
Right.
He's got to learn how to race. He's got to do that. He's got to conform. And he didn't. He stayed true to himself. And now everybody's bought in. Like, oh, this is good. So we're guilty of that as a sport in general, right? No matter where you go, like you got to learn how to race the way we want you to race because we want to win, and you're kind of disrupting that. Yeah. And he's like, you don't get a lot of people that are like, "F you, I'm doing it my way." So congrats to them and that whole team, man. Luke Lambert's a stud, and I trained with all those picker guys. I was stoked for all of them. It was a lot of their first wins, so
that's cool.
It was just exciting.
Somebody said NASCAR's going to write a rule now that you can't do that. I said that'd be the craziest thing I can do.
Did you
don't do that?
No, did you not see the interview where Hocevar is in the media center, and somebody asked him that question. You know, do you think they'll ban that? And I guess Steve O'Donnell was in there, and he just looks over. He's like, Steve, what do you think? Are we going to ban this or what?
I didn't see that.
He said, I'm good with it.
Yeah, and he was like, no, we're good with it. And I was like, but that they needed to let that
Yeah.
go. Like, that needs to be his thing. I mean, Carl Liberts had the backflip. Everybody's got their own little thing. You know, Austin Dillon takes off running in the grass and does the endo, or whatever it is. Let him do his thing,
It was
man.
cool.
Just let him have some personality. I think that's super cool.
I texted him, you know, I was happy for him. And I don't know if he hadn't been to bed yet or if he was just so wound up he got up early. But he texted me back at 6:36 Monday morning.
He hadn't been to
thanks,
bed."
man. So I don't know if he hadn't been to bed yet or if he was probably hadn't been to bed yet.
Definitely.
What is your take on the Cleetus McFarland in racing thing?
Yeah, I like it. Like we've been down to the Freedom 500 with Corey, and I think that there's needed to be somebody that bridges the gap between NASCAR and car culture for a long time. He does that, and what I like is that he seems to be wanting to do it the right way. He's with the right people. Like if you're going to get with RCR and make an investment into the sport, you're doing it with the right people for the right reasons. Going to Rockingham was probably a little challenging in a Busch car for the first time, but he doesn't have much laps, right? And when I look at Corey and I had this conversation because he was like, were you cheering for Cleetus to win? Or like, how'd you feel about it? And I'm like, I felt good about it because it's like him and Andy J, especially, they've put the work in to get there. Like, how many people do we know that haven't put the work in to get to where they're at?
Yeah.
Like, they've put the work in. It's different work than what we're used to with Cleetus, you know, getting clicks on YouTube and doing that. But he's overall, like, the excitement around him running that race and the excitement from all the fans when he was about to win, like, you could feel the energy at Talladega. And it's hard to shift the energy of that place.
Yeah.
And he shifted it. But it seems as though he's doing it the right way, and he genuinely likes racing. And we're reaping the benefits of that as a sport by getting the popularity of him and more eyes on it. And I think there was the most viewership they've had in ARCA race.
Well, I was
in a
going
long
to say,
time.
I rarely watch ARCA races, but I made a point. I literally put it on my calendar to stop my yard work to go in and
Well, I'll
watch.
tell you exactly what happened. I was getting ready to fix my hot dogs. It was on a Saturday. And Slate said, Dad, Cleetus is leading. And I run in there to watch TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was going back and forth anyway. But yeah, same thing. And whenever we had Danny Stockman in here, and he was saying the same thing that mirroring what you're saying, that he legitimately wants to get better. He wants to
And he
do
said
it
he
the right
knows no
way.
fear.
Yeah.
So he is not scared.
Like he wants to do the sim and he wants to learn and he wants to get better.
Unless
So-
he's on a qualifying run, from what I saw on Danny
Right.
Stockman's, he said the stickers are still on it.
Yeah.
But you know, the other side of it is he owns a racetrack, which is awesome. That DeSoto Speedway Freedom Factory they owns is sweet. We went down there and did that Crown Vic race they have is awesome. But now it seems like there's more late model races being run there and other things. So it's going to make short track racing stronger.
Right.
I'm a little bit weary of his buddy Squirrel McNutt's name. Like I think that's a little bit too Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby-ish for
Yeah,
me.
a little bit.
But I want them to do it the right way and respect our sport, right?
Yeah.
And that if they can do that and we can all reap the benefits from it, I'm all for
me
it,
too.
man. I like it. And look, there's a lot of influencers that skip steps and find sponsors to go race. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
It's the nature of the beast.
you know, just because he's so popular in our realm, you see a lot of jealousy. It's no different. If you dig in the comments far enough, you're going to find dirt. But I love what he's doing, and I applaud him for it.
And this is true of Andy J. This is true of Hocevar. Those three guys, when they're genuine, and when their excitement is pure, and I get it. Like, you know, if you're Denny Hamlin or Kyle Larson, or, you know, they've won so much. It's not that they don't appreciate it at all, because I know they do, but you kind of know what you're going to get out of that interview. I love watching their interviews. And, you know, like when Cleetus was passing somebody and he's doing 180 down the back stretch and he's fist pumping, you know, like I'm sitting there like, that's genuine, you know, and I love that because there are so few things in life that pull the emotion like that. And, you know, I've loved watching Andy J for a long time. He's a modified guy. And I remember the first time I saw him.
Just try racing against him.
Well,
I
I remember he showed up in his car. I was like, man, that thing looks like a rolling death trap, you know. But by God, he could drive it. And
There's a little bit of smoke and mirrors there. I'm onto his shit. He pulls it out and he plays the
airplane he
woe is
brought
me.
that airplane he brought to South Boston that time, the officials kind of let the body go.
Yeah, spoilers higher than the roof.
Yeah. I remember the first time I raced against him, I believe it was a Coma race maybe back in the day, and it was a Hickory. And we still, to this day, it's nickname. We say, oh, he Andy J'd it. He went out to qualify and went
2 miles an hour.
I was there 2 laps at half speed.
Just didn't burn his time.
We're like, what's he doing? He ended up winning the race.
Yeah.
And so to this day, if somebody throws a qualifying away, we say, oh, they Andy J'd it. So to this day, we
Was
still
it just
call
to
it.
keep the tires?
Yeah, just to keep, just
He
to
knew
keep
he was
tires
going
on
to
the
qualify
car.
up front, so he just rode around. He look, him and his Uncle Jake, they do so much racing. It's really cool. But like I get on him because like he'll be like, I don't have much money. I'm like, dude, I was broke too. Just go to work. Like, but everybody goes their own path, right? And him and Andy Seiss, like what they built there with that team, they've done it the hard way. And people can get mad and watch them win, but like I went to victory lane, gave him a hug because I was excited for them. And that, it's anybody can shit talk each other, right? It takes a grown man to acknowledge like, hey, you did a good job. You put yourself in this position. And if you're upset with where you are in your position in life or you're jealous, maybe you need to put the work in to grow. So it's good to see, but I will stand on that. I don't like restarting next to him.
Yeah. Couple more steps. Holy how's it going? Are you me? Yeah, I'm you from the future. Well, hold on, let me shoot this deer real quick. Yeah, that deer's gonna wind you because you didn't use your limit shield. Told you so. Anyway, I got a jet. Just remember to use your limit shield. Oh yeah, and if Mike asks you to go to Tijuana, don't go.
I talked to Connor and some of his buddies, and I told him that you were coming on, and one of his buddies was like, "You got to ask him, like, how do we like do what he's doing?" And I was like, "Well, I don't think it just happens. You probably got to start sweeping floors or having an open door, but you've climbed the ranks and you've had." Great success. So if for these younger guys out there, let's just say Slate, for instance, Slate says, I want to race part-time, but I want to get on the road and travel. Like what's the path for that?
Yeah. Everybody's situation's different. Mine was really unique because I came in at a time at Roush. I moved from, like I said, Blue Ridge Junkyard. Me and my cousin Keith were building bodies. We kind of started our own little fabrication business in a shop in Jackson, New Jersey. We'd build like Timmy Ayers cars, a lot of Wall Stadium cars, Truexes, Bluets. And then I just took my toolbox and moved down here, and I worked for the Pistones because we had been coming down and racing the summer shootouts. I met them, and I remember I'd just drive around Mooresville Business Park, like dreaming about being in race shops. And one day I went to a Subway with a friend from Jersey, and there was a guy from Roush in there, and I gave him a resume. And he called me like 2 weeks later, and he was like, "Hey, man, can you come in and meet with me?" And it's like beach kid. I'm from this beach town, Manasquan, New Jersey, right by Wall Stadium, and like shaggy hair. And I cut my hair and go in there, and he's like, I got all these resumes. There's like a stack this tall, and he's like, and these are the ones that made it. And I got yours first because like, have you really done all this racing? Like you've spotted at Loudon, you've spotted at Nazareth. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, and you've done tires and you've done this. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's just what we had to, like, I don't know. Yeah. Does everybody not do that?
Yeah, it's normal to us.
Yeah, right? That's what they told me I had to go do. So I figured it out because I didn't want to get yelled at by Jimmy or John. Yeah. So I just figured, or my cousin Keith. And he was like, dude, you've done way more racing than most of the people here. So they gave me a job right at the cup shop as a fabricator. And I went in there. I didn't know that there was 2 5 o'clocks in the morning. Like in the day, so I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. We started 6:30 to 5:30, and man, Roush, everything they tell you about it, like being like a boot camp, it was. And I was 19, like thrust into this. But I worked around a lot of great fabricators. And when I was there for 4 years. And when I started, I just built side skirts. And I would go to the pit practice area at lunch and after work every day. I would go on the road. Like I'd take vacation to go on the road with that 26 Crown Royal car and do tires and sling springs. And when I left there, man, I had gotten a full-blown college education and TIG welding, MIG welding, fabricating. We'd build all the window. I could build anything in the fab shop. I'd go on the road. I could change tires. And the way that they would never let me change tires though, because they always had the athletes and I wasn't I was a high school wrestler. I didn't weigh much, but thank God for the Smart Modified Tour. I got an opportunity to go change tires because I talked to Bobby Hutchins at Martinsville. And I said, hey, Bobby, my name's Ryan. When we would come down here and race the Smart Tour, we'd come to your shop because we'd come down and they'd be like, a race on Friday or a race on Sunday, like
Yeah.
on a 4th of July weekend, we'd go to his shop and turn the car around. He's like, oh, I remember that. I said, hey, I'm looking to get into changing tires. I work here now. And they hired me at Stuart Haas the next year as the first ever backup tire changer they hired. And I worked in the Aero group, and we went on that car right there that's on your wall, that 14 car with Tony. I got put on that team, and we won the championship in 2011, beat Carl Edwards. And I just kept grinding and hitting lug nuts until got on O'Reilly's car there, and it was Nationwide at the time in a truck, and I'd go do ARCA races and whatever I could, and then still go back and do happy hour and do practice, and then go back and change and find a way back to the hotel. And then finally kind of just snowballed into a career where all I did was change tires. But it's like being a Hendrick, what they bring in is just D1 athletes. And it's really cool because like I'm working with kids that have degrees from Stanford, or there's way higher. My tire carrier for the last couple of years on the 12 car, Trevor Apsey, Central Michigan D1 football player, and I learned just as much from him as he learned from me on racing, of working out, taking care of your body. They're smarter than me. I mean, I know junkyard knowledge, right? So like these guys are well educated. So if they know about investing money or proper, you take so much from everybody. So it's really hard to break into it now because they have a certain they recruit just like they do football players. But there still is an avenue for just going and grinding it out. And I would say I made it here just by showing up every day. Even the days where you feel like it's helpless. Those are the days where you're ready to give up. That's the days when the phone call comes and someone misses the plan and they need to put you in, and then you keep the job, right?
Yeah.
And that's been 20 years of just showing up consistently. Even when like you're not welcome, you just show up and they put you to work, and then it works out. So that's kind of the grind that I've been on that it has gotten me to be able to jump out in front of these things for a living for a long time.
What do you think? What's the average expectancy, like age expectancy?
Yeah, I think everybody's unique and different. There's still guys that do it. Like if you talk to Daniel Smith, who changes rear tires on the 54, he's been doing it forever, and he says he's going to do it till he's 50. Right? I want to do it while I can, because I had a crossroad last year when I was going to be done with Penske, and I knew it was clear I was going to move on from Penske. Of like, all right, you've won championships, you've won a bunch of races. Probably not going to make the same money you're making. What's it going to look like? So I built a business to be ready for this, because I've seen a lot of really good tire changers just lose their job and then they're done. Yeah. And you're like, oh no.
I don't have a backup plan.
So I built the powder coat business to have a backup plan, and did the media stuff to tell the story about. I mean, we're going to talk about racing anyway. Yeah. And then we tell the story from you never really get to hear a pit crew guy's analysis of what happened. So I felt like it was good for the fans of the sport to talk about that. So like, okay, I got some different buckets of income, so that way I'm not married to it. But like when Chad Canals calls and says, hey, I need somebody to come change on these O'Reilly cars, and like this weekend we got Kyle Larson in Texas, you're like, yes, I'm in,
Yeah, 100%.
So that's been a great opportunity, but the time is running out. But like I still want to I can still be an asset to the team, and I can still help the young guys that are coming in with my racing knowledge that don't have any, and tell them how to manage a race. And I don't know if that turns into a coaching gig or what, but on a race team, wherever you can be the biggest asset, and whenever you stop, when you kind of run out of being an asset or you can't do it anymore, the guys that still want to be involved, they usually find a way to still be involved. And the other guys that were just kind of there to make money, they end up doing something else. But that 40 range, I'd say if you go to the O'Reilly's race, the age is about 50, like 45, 50. There's some old school dogs doing it, and they were still really good. So as long as you keep your body healthy, we have so many more resources now. Like if you go look up the Hendrick pit stop facility they just built, it's amazing.
They did it on pre-race last week.
It's amazing.
And you're like, I mean, it was.
Yeah, I walked in there. I was like, well, we better be really good at pit stops. But for a guy like me, like I think about the guys that were my age when I got into it, and it was like Advil and beer, man. Figure it out. Rub some dirt in it. Get up tomorrow. And now it's like, no, sauna, red light. You go through all these, and you have people to work on you, and they figure out what's wrong with you right away and fix it, and what's tight and what's not. So there's a lot of guys whose careers were cut way short that could have gone another 10 or 15 years just because of the resources we have now. And that's just getting smarter as a sport and bringing in specialists that know the body better and know what we go through. And the teams have seen the investment that they make in the pit crews, how big it is. So I've seen so many, and I joke with the guys that have been doing it for 20 years like I have. We've seen so many changes in pit stops.
I can only imagine.
You know, from when we started with catch can guys and pulling tires and 5-nut. Then we went to a point where we were only hitting 4 nuts. And then we had officials and then no officials. Then they took a guy away. Like it's been so crazy. But it's really cool to do this for a living.
When your team, wherever you are, wins a race or a championship, what benefits other than the pride do crew guys get? Like, do you get rings? Do you get bonuses? Do you get, like, I'd always heard every time Jimmy Johnson won a race, Lowe's would give all of his crew guys, or maybe it was a whole place, I don't know, like a $500 gift card.
Yeah, my wife. That's how I met my wife.
Cool.
She was the one that would give those out. She worked.
Really?
She worked for Lowe's back in the day. I was like, damn, I need to get on that deal. I missed that by a couple of years, but every team's different, right? And everybody has a different bonus structure. So, like at Penske, we would get paid for race wins and championships, and other teams get paid for where you finish in rankings as a pit crew. So everywhere is a little bit different, but I've been so lucky. I have like 17 rings at the house from championships and big races. You get the best one is we won Martinsville twice with Blaney. I got 2 grandfather clocks, right? And you get those trophies.
You've got a clock?
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
They give all the crew guys
Blaney
a clock?
did. Yeah, Blaney got us all clocks.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's on time right there.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, and then you have like, there's some cool trophies that you get, like a couple of Bristol swords, and you don't get obviously with the drivers or the crew chiefs get, but the biggest part of that. And look, I heard Logano say it, and it makes so much sense. It's like all these trophies where kids are just gonna have to throw out one day. But it's the memories you make with the guys. And when you guys know, when you're on a team and you're all pulling the rope in the same direction and you have a result, and the goal is not to win the championship. It's the result of doing everything right that you do with your guys, and just a year-long process of working together. That's the best, man.
Yeah.
But the next time you go to Martinsville, if you win...
Clocks for everybody.
Clocks for everybody.
Like,
I got their number.
Hand them out.
I mean, even if it's a replica like this right here, I'd be happy.
Have you won Martinsville yet?
Let's tell the story.
Come on, man.
I hope you don't know the answer to this. So I'm just going to sit back and
this
enjoy
was the
one.
500th start for the Welland, at the time, the Featherlight Modified Tour. And I won the race. And post-race tech.
Oh, you got a couple of these.
The transmission may or may not have had the wrong low gear in the car.
Was it your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I was pressured.
You drove for Eddie for a little while too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But this was back. This was
This is before I started helping you.
08, I think.
They didn't look the other way for you?
No, I was actually
Are
told.
you kidding? A Southern driver taking
I was
it to
actually
all the Northern guys?
I was a NASCAR representative. Actually told my ex crew chief years later, you didn't really think we were going to let a Southern car win the 500 start of the Welland Modified Tour.
Well, I mean, I think Southern cars help build the tour, right?
So either way, I was on stage beside a clock and had pictures made in the whole 9 yards, but I do not have a clock.
Damn.
It went to Priest, didn't it?
Yeah, Priest ended up.
finished second.
Priest ended up getting the win, and we became the youngest until Austin Beers just beat him. I think, if I'm wrong, and that may be a champion, but either way, Priest was like 18 or whatever.
Yeah,
and was driving Old Blue.
Yeah.
But they can say whatever they want.
You won the race.
I won the race, and who's to say if the wrong third gear in the transmission made a difference or not? I don't know, but I know that I passed Ryan Priest, put a half straightaway on him, and I won.
And you weren't shifting.
I won at Martinsville.
Yeah.
So
we won that race with Corey. So I've won at Martinsville almost every series. I haven't won in the O'Reillys, but won trucks, won Cup there a couple times. And then Corey went and drove that car. We had such a bad pit stop that we ended up putting fuel in is what won us the race. But I remember that wreck on the backstretch. The only thing I remember from the whole victory lane was Tommy Bowman just being like, "You're a freaking hack!" And then he started yelling at me, and I'm like, "I'm not driving it, Tommy. Why are you yelling at me?" Because he was just mad. And I was like, "Talk to him." And then Corey started spouting back at him, and I just changed and left.
Yeah.
We tried getting that transmission back, but it didn't work real well.
No, it's
NASCAR took it.
Yeah, they confiscated it. Yep,
damn.
they confiscated it.
I had to go down and pick up some, I didn't have to, but I was working in uniform, highway patrol, and I had to go to Concord anyway for a meeting about the upcoming 600 All-Star race, whatever it was. And he said, hey, while you're down there, will you run by the R&D center and pick up my sticker package or some stickers or something? I said, yeah. So I walk in, and as I'm walking in, this door just flies open, and it hits the toes of my shoes. And this head kind of pops around. It was Mike Helton. And he was like, oh, hey, Trooper, how are you? You good? And I said, yeah, no worries. So, somebody helped you? I said, no, I haven't gotten up to the desk yet. And he said, well, what can we do for you? I said, I'm here to pick up Burt Meyer's Martinsville transmission. He just looks at me. I said, I'm pretty sure it's still here. He just said, who told you this? I was like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm here to pick up some stickers. And he just kind of smiled, just kind of walked off. But,
That's funny.
Yeah.
What? I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What did you? So I think when you race modifieds, I think a lot of short track guys think that cup racing is something it isn't. Right? When you get in the car and you get there, you're just racing, and you realize like, oh man, these guys got a lot of resources.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from driving a cup car?
I mean, the experience was one thing, especially at my age, I never thought I'd get that opportunity. It was just, it was, like you said, it's just a race car. Like when you get in there and you get buckled in, you don't think, oh, I'm driving a cup car. You think, what can I do to go fast?
Yeah.
The biggest difference between, I've said this, but the biggest difference between the cup car and the modified is it seems like the modified, you can hustle it to make up time. The cup car, the harder you drive it to make up time, the slower you go.
Radial tires, chatter.
It was what it was.
Well, that's when I started at Roush. The reason I ask you that is the guy, Wayne Gaudet, awesome guy. He goes, hey man, we're going to hire you, but you got to know, like, this isn't all fresh paint, rainbows and butterflies. Like this is dirty work. And like, we get after it. It's like, it's real racing. And I think that's one thing that the short track fans kind of don't see is like, no, when you get down to it, like it looks nice and there's a lot of money and there's like a lot of sponsors in it, but it's like nitty gritty. You're still when the window net goes up, the bullshit stops and you're just you're racing.
The resources is the big thing.
Yeah.
Like my shop, if a Chad Canals walked into my shop, he'd say, what a mess. Right? But
you'd be surprised.
But if a Bowman Gray racer walked into my shop, they said, man, this is a nice shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's about the resources that they have and the sim time and like you said, the training and all that stuff. And then it was funny because I finally found out the reason I was so beat after that Martinsville race was the cool shirt quit working. And it's actually worse than if I didn't have it on at all.
Yeah, it gets hot.
It was cooking me alive and I didn't know it. But it's just a race car. You know what I mean? When I got in it and you just, how do I go fast?
That's it.
You know what I mean? You're just driving it. So my old joke was, would you drive this or would you drive that? And I say, does it have a steering wheel?
Yeah.
It's got a steering wheel, I'll drive it. So, but it was cool to be able to do it. I mean, it's obviously be cool. I'm still working on, it's been talked about and we're still working on, I want to run an O'Reilly's race at Martinsville. Because I've run a modified, I've run a truck, and I've run a cup car. So I want to run O'Reilly's race at Martinsville.
Lee Pulliam did a hell of a job.
I know, didn't he, right?
He did.
Didn't he? I think that it all goes back to, we talk about that there are thousands and thousands of racers across the country that run on Saturday night that could get in a top quality car on Sunday and be successful.
Yeah.
The key is it's just like when people come to Bowman Gray. It's not just about the car and the resources and all that. It's about knowing what you're up against. And those guys that do it week in and week out know what to expect. They know what's coming. And that's what's hard to get acclimated to because the only thing that can get you that is seat time.
Yeah. Well, a good thing now, and what I lean on a lot when I would come race with you guys, I'd watch every YouTube video in car. Watch how the races progress, watch how you guys restart, watch where you shift, watch where you're putting brake bias in it as the race. And that's how, with the indoor racing we do, the TQ stuff, we had success right away because I watched a video of Teddy Christopher racing at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Rhode Island, probably 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And every time I'd watch something different, you could see his throttle linkage. I'd watch to see where his throttle inputs were, what he did when he got tight. And it's like when I got in the car, I was ready to go because I didn't have a simulator for that, but I watched it so many times I could hear the pitch.
Yeah.
When he overdrove it a little bit, how it would act. Like knowing just when you watch something intently instead of just mindlessly scrolling, you can really pick up a lot. And I feel like that's at Bowman Gray, like that's what I learned. Like, okay, when they're tight, what do they do the corner? What do they do here? So you have to if you put the work in, right?
For sure.
It usually works out.
For sure. And see, whenever I got the cup deal, by the time we got it finalized, I went to the GM static sim, and I got to go to RCR's static sim one time.
Yeah.
I went to that one time and that one time.
You just say you didn't do the DI, the driver in the loop. You didn't get sick.
No, I didn't get to do that one.
Okay.
I didn't get to do that one.
They say it makes a lot of guys sick.
I think that, and it helped me. It helped me. And the biggest thing I wanted to do before I went into Martinsville was the whole pit road deal. And, and shifting. And I wanted to make sure I didn't make a fool out of myself. And I learned enough on the sim to where when I showed up, I was halfway ready. But just think about had I had a couple months to prepare and go to the other sim and get to do more than I did. But I had no sim at all leading up to the Clash at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, wow.
So, I mean.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You've won 100 features here. You'll be fine.
And that's kind of what I was up against. And I mean, until we got that deal with me and Ricky got together, I mean, we were going to the front. We were actually running pretty good. So, but I think back to whenever I drove that truck. When I drove at Martinsville in the truck.
Whose trucks you drove?
SS with Bobby Dotter.
Yep.
And we went to Caraway and tested. And we went back and looked at lap times. They had taken solder to Caraway to test. I was 1/10.5 to 2/10 faster than the laps he ran. I'm thinking, we get to Martinsville, I'm going to win this race.
Right.
And I go to Martinsville and Harvick's running, and I'm like, dude, this, I thought we were good. Mm-hmm. And, I think about just kind of a vague analogy is if that truck had a $15,000 brake package on it, to me, that was out. Whew. Harvick may have had a $30,000 brake package. You know what I mean? And when you go out and you follow one of those guys and you see where they're beating you, and you can't make your truck do that because you don't have the resources they do, you see where they're beating you. You see why they're so good. And that's what leads up to the resources, the time, the experience. It's just hard to compete with. So,
it is.
But I do believe that there is absolutely talent spread across this United States in short tracks that will never be highlighted because they never have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So, we've joked about before about we used to go to Bristol with the modifieds and they'd say, I don't think it's fair they let Ryan Newman race for y'all. Why? Because he gets paid to race on Sunday? He's not better than we are. No offense to Ryan, but in that situation, Ryan was no better modified driver than the majority of the field. But they put him in that category because he gets paid on Sunday. Same way, there's guys across the country that if you put them in that right situation, they're gonna be good. And make no bones about it. Lee Pulliam, get him a couple more races under his belt, he'd be winning races.
Look at Josh Berry, right? He was the one we were talking about recently, and now he's driving. He's in his third full year of Cup or whatever.
Right. So I mean, it's just about it's always about being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So
Well, and unfortunately,
about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the money.
You got to chase the dollar. Well, speaking of money, you mentioned you were going to come or try to come to the stadium like 3 out of the last 4 races. Do you have sponsorship opportunities like on your car for those races, or are you fully decked out? Or
no, I pretty much do everything myself. I have my buddy Frankie Caprera, FX Caprera, up in New York. He takes care of a lot of my indoor stuff. He just loves indoor racing, and he sponsors a lot of dirt modified guys. He's one of the best dudes ever. If you've seen a race in the last little bit, there's FX Caprera on somebody's car, whether it's Catalano or you watched his brother races big block dirt modifieds up there. But for my modified stuff, I pretty much do a lot of it myself. I have one of my buddies that owns a pool company, and I just put the Joy of Seating on the side because they help me out so much. So yeah, anybody that wants to come on board for Bowman Gray, we'd love to have you. Even if it's just for tires or what, because even with the Hills, like I had their sponsors on there, but I would buy the tires and do all that with my car. So yeah, I've reached out. I'd love to get a moonshine sponsor for it because Matthew Dillner started calling it White Lightning because it's white. And
Yeah.
I feel like that fits
That'd be
perfect.
cool, wouldn't it?
So I reached out a couple of them, but yeah, I'd love to.
We could probably find some dollars from that industry. I just don't know that we could market it on the side.
Yeah. You guys are the closer we
Moonshine
get
in
to
North
the hills.
Carolina, you can't market.
Yeah. Well,
People go to jail.
yeah, there's a lot. Well, now it's becoming more and more mainstream.
It is,
You know, we got
yeah.
Midnight. I got a signed bottle of Midnight Moon from Junior Johnson in my office.
that's
I
cool.
saw that the other day. But yeah, I mean, and then Bowman Gray. You know, you get so much. It seems like you get so much ROI there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you get
it's
so much.
It's a marketing
shit.
paradise. It really is.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we've come so far with the, you know, like you guys see with the podcast and with just what you can bring to your sponsors. It's so much more. How many kids do we know that just go, hey, sponsor me,
Yeah.
you know, and they don't bring anything to the table. Like whenever I do that with people, we make sure that we have content that we deliver. We make a list of deliverables. Like, what do you want? What are you going to get? Do we want t-shirts? Do we want crew shirts? Do we want hats? And what can we give you guys? Like I have a when we go race in Atlantic City, I stay at the Ocean there. And you might remember Frank Rucco. He raced. He was a champion at Stafford, but he's part of the ownership group there. And, you know, we always give them t-shirts and they come hang out at the race. And it's so much fun. And they provide us a place to stay there. And it's like, I guess because kind of never, like I've always had to earn everything myself. I feel bad. Like it's not good for business.
Right.
To not like, but I've always just figured it out myself. Cause like, I'm not great at asking. Like I watched Landon Huffman on here and I'm like, man, I wish I was more like him. I wish I liked Twitch, you know?
Yeah, right.
But like, I just like, I'll just buy the tires myself and you know, put in a couple extra hours this week. But yeah, we're really, whenever we do something, like we've done a lot with Speedway Illustrated magazine, building cars in there. And like Carl Fredrickson, who owns that, like whenever he gives me, it gets us, you know, whether we get a deal with Will Wood or deals, I'm like, okay, what can I do for you? And he's like, you've just never taken anything for free. You can't do it.
No,
and I'm like, no, I just want to, I want to show that you're, you know, if you're investing in me, I'm investing back in you. So I'm always looking for partners like that, especially with our modified stuff. We went, put the 602 in it, went down to Florida. Now we run third, first, and then we got beat the other week at Ace, like Gary Young. Got us. That's a cool place too, man. I just love going to these short tracks, and I learned so much from watching how these short track guys do stuff. And you take we were parked next to Lee Pulliam there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the more that I could do that, and have partners come on board, the more I'd love to just race around the Southeast.
Well, it's like when I hear people say, somebody said something the other day about Slate. They said, well, I know Slate's got room on his car, but you're full. And I'm like, ooh, no, you're never full.
You're never full.
My nose panel on my Bowman Gray car is open right now. Right now, we've got Citrusafe on the back panel and the quarter panels, just because I don't have anybody on the quarter panel. So anybody that wants to partner, I think that, I'm not going to say any numbers, obviously, but I think a lot of people think that getting on my car is going to cost them a mortgage, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. We all can work out. You know, I tell people, if this number doesn't suit you, what number does? And we'll figure out something. And I'm the same way. I've always made it a goal. If somebody did partner with me, I want to see what I can give them back. I don't want them to think it's just, you know, what Kevin Powell used to say.
He hit it dead on the
Kevin Powell hit it dead on the money. He said when somebody would come to him and ask him for sponsorship or whatever, and it's a handout. It's what
he said, do you want a donation?
A
or do you want a
donation. That's what he
partnership?
called it.
Yeah.
He said, no, you're looking for a donation.
Yeah.
What can you give me back? And that's what I've tried to tell Slade is it's a partnership. It's not a sponsorship necessarily. It's a partnership because you're helping each other.
And that's what starting the powder coat business had made me realize is like, oh, now I have skin in the game. Now I can offer stuff back. And now I understand how business works and how hard we have to work for money and how some weeks it's tough to make payroll.
Yeah.
And some weeks you're rolling in it. Like it's different. So when you approach people like, and this is a message for all young racers, like when you approach people for money, they're not just, like you said, give you a donation, have a plan.
Yeah.
Like, and the other thing too is like, for us, like exactly your point, sometimes even $500 goes a long way.
Yeah.
Right. And on a fuel deal this year, you got a fuel, you know, like that's a huge deal.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
those little things of just building relationships and trying to grow your brand, right, is huge. So that's what we're working on now. I'm a little late to the game at 38 years old, but I finally made enough money and have some freedom where I can go race. I'm like, I told Gary Putnam, I'm like, I'm you, buddy.
Yeah.
He started at the same age.
What is Stacking Pennies? What is ballpark y'all's viewership?
I think they go for it's on so many different platforms that
Yeah,
it's hard to
it's
track.
hard, yeah.
And then a lot of people consume it off of Sirius XM, which we don't know. But I think they try to get, more than 20,000 a week is what they go for. But I don't know what that means. I don't know if that includes YouTube
It's
or
hard for me
what.
to keep up with. I just let someone tell me.
And it's hard to on just from helping Bart with this, and you and I have had this conversation. It's hard to put in a number on, what's the value of getting in front of this number of audience.
I can tell you that we had with all of our stuff. So my buddy Kyron just texted me, and he's put together a one-sheeter for us, and it was somewhere in the realm of 3 million plus views combined in the last 30 days.
Yeah. So
like that's real. That's real numbers,
yeah,
right?
when you go to somebody and you're talking to them and you say, and I'll just use $5,000 for a round number. You go to them and you say, where else can you get in front of 3 million people
Right.
in 30 days for $5,000?
Right.
Well, the one that I looked at one on the way here, and I just asked Jimmy Johnson about his wreck at Watkins Glen, 200,000 views on Instagram. Like, why am I not wearing a Sunoco hat or a hat for that? Okay. And I'm bad about asking or even like letting people. Like a lot of people are like, oh, we didn't even know you needed something. Like you show up with this white car and it looks like everything's taken care of. I'm like, no, dude, I need a lot. I'm doing like stretched thin. So I guess I can do a better job telling my story and tell people where I'm going to be. Cause man, I'm like, sometimes I just fall in that typical junkyard race where I just show up, race and leave and don't, and a lot of times, man, I love racing. I love the short track racing, but I just love and I'm a one and done guy, but I love the Miller Lite out of the cooler at the end of the night on the back of the tailgate. Like I'm all about that. And that's what we've been having so much fun with.
Bush Light Apple kind of guy.
Oh, whatever. I'm Bush Light Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
2 favorite times of the year: November when the deer are in rut, and April when Bush Light Apple
It ain't
comes
nothing
out.
like when we went bootlegging that time. You
Can't talk about that. He's going to get in trouble.
You couldn't get the Bush Apple, and we had went up north for something to get a car from SAP or something, and we were calling stores and hit. Can I say this or should I?
No,
not?
you're good. No.
We were calling stores coming from New York back to North Carolina, stopping at every store we could stop at, and I think we had. Was it 80?
It was a lot.
We had 80 cases of Bush Light Apple.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that's what we used to do when we'd come down here. Everybody'd get cartons of cigarets and bring them back up north.
We had 80 cases that we all went in together and split. You brought some from us and we were, because that was when it first debuted and you couldn't buy it down here. So we were stopped. We were literally coming down.
Turn this into a
85,
distribution
95.
warehouse for Bush Light Apple.
I feel like a Coke dealer because I've got all these places that will call me ahead of time and say, hey, I got a pallet coming. How much do you want?
Listen, when I win my first race of the stadium, you and I are going to have a Bush Light. That's the first time I'm going to drink one.
Yeah.
I'll bring them. Fair enough. Well, and if all else fails, if powder coating dries up and you get to an age where you can't change anymore, you can always be a flow announcer. You did a great job. I mean, and I don't say that because you're sitting here. If you sucked ass, I'd tell you sucked ass. You did a great job down at Speed Weeks at New Smyrna.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've always thought that being a competitor was the hardest thing, right? You go there, I'm like, you kind of have this little bit of arrogance because you're racing. When you take the blinders off, you were just worried about your own car. When you do that, like I was sitting in the booth and I was like, oh, this is way harder because you're worried about everybody. And then you're worried about telling everybody's stories. And look, if it wasn't for the journalists and those guys that do that, we'd just be a bunch of egotistical maniacs running into each other, telling everybody how great we are, right? They tell the story, lay it out. And like through that, it was great. Kyle Rickey was great. And working with the folks at NASCAR, like Matt Strickard and everybody that's part of that. But like, then I get a phone call from Ben Dodge to talk about like, hey, this is what was good. This is, like those guys, I think there's a lack of like, I think there's a lot of guys that are getting into that realm to just be famous.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a little bit of a lull for racers that it's a really hard art to learn how to talk.
Yeah.
I don't like listening to myself. And there's like times where I go back and listen to the podcast and I cringe. I'm sure you guys do the same thing.
I do too.
But I'm like, okay, I haven't had the opportunities to race the tour, but I've been watching the tour and I pay attention to it. Like I've been working at talking on this podcast for so many years. Like if there's an opportunity to talk about modifieds and relay it to the fans, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Because I love modified racing, and it's a genuine love for it. And I don't even like the first one I signed up to do, like, I didn't even know I was getting paid for. I was like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so just trying to build into that brand. And when you look at it, to your point, like everybody wants to put you in a box of like, you're a pick crew guy, or you're a driver, or you're a crew chief. But like, we've had to do all of it. And that's when you watch a race, you watch it in such a different way that you can explain it to the fans, or you're looking at stuff that enhances the viewership for the fan. Like, this is what I'm seeing, and then it draws their attention to it. Now, New Smyrna, there's so much to talk about with those new tires, and you know, Ronnie Silk wrecking early, and there's so many great guys. Like, there was a guy that runs, I don't know if it's Connecticut Racing or whatever, that like was bashing the Flow broadcast at Martinsville that we did. And I'm like, man, everybody is working so hard to try to champion for the modified series. And I do feel, justfully so, that the modifieds have felt like the redheaded stepchilds, like they've been forgotten.
They always have been.
But not anymore. Like with Joey Denowitz and Gary Putnam, everybody's putting a lot of effort into modifieds. And even like Jason Balmer and all those guys, Strickert, all those guys that work hard on the broadcast. I'm like, man, they are working, and they're not getting paid a lot, and they're doing this because they love the sport and they want to see the modifieds succeed. And then, you know, we almost eat our own on the modified guys, because we find a lot of stuff to be mad about from the years of feeling like the redheaded stepchild. But I guess my message to everybody is that, like, NASCAR is truly has the best interest of the modifieds in mind. Everybody on that broadcast wants to see the modifieds succeed, and don't, you know, if they get something wrong on the broadcast, it's really hard to do.
Right.
And a lot of times you don't have any resources. Like when I called a race on Flow at Bowman Gray, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You don't even have, like, you're writing down who people are. You don't have lap times.
Right.
You don't have start. Like, it's really hard.
You got Justin Mincy sitting behind you, correct?
He wasn't even there the one night. No, he hurt his
my
leg,
God.
so I was just
Oh my
freestyling.
God.
Me and Matthew. I wish
That's
Mincy was
like
there.
not having a computer with
But
internet.
it's so challenging. So, I mean, we got to help. We got to all work together to make this thing grow.
There's so much that goes on to a broadcast. I had no idea, and being able to hear the broadcast and the producers in the trailer and how everything. Oh man, it's like
I've put myself,
wild.
like, be watching a race and put myself in that spot and think about, like, remembering all the names and remembering. I mean, it's
the ones
gotta be overwhelming.
but the ones you don't, you just don't.
Right.
And I'd love to hear you call a race. I mean, not because I would think you would embarrass yourself at all, but because I think, you know, your perspective, just like yours, would be so unique.
Yeah. Well, I think you're seeing, it's just like I've always said that drivers make good spotters.
Yeah.
You're seeing now on Sundays, drivers also make good commentators because they understand the other side of it. It's not just watching it.
Yeah.
Well, NASCAR does a good job now, which I never had, of kind of having a pipeline of, like, I go there for simulations, and they've hired some talent people that train us to do, because it's just work, right? And like, I was supposed to be in the booth again for Martinsville. Well, it rained out, so me and Dylan are switched, and I went and did pit road. Like, I called Kim Kuhn, like, hey Kim, give me some tips on how this works, and then her and Dylan are still, like, having those resources of talking together. And I had done a simulated pit report that week at NASCAR for another thing, so I was like more prepared than I would have been. So they're giving us the resources with their new facility they built in Concord to kind of move people from the industry up in those roles, and it's been really cool.
I didn't think we'd go down. Half the rabbit holes went down today.
Yeah, that's
But man,
right, man.
I learned a lot.
We need to get
I
you
did.
indoor racing, man. You got to come check that out.
I've had that, not been offered a ride, but I've had that suggestion.
What do you weigh? 200?
200 pounds.
You're a little bit. I got to get down to 175 because Andy J will be outside running laps. He'll be like 130 pounds and flick him over. But it's a really cool style race. And you know, like here, what was it, Greensboro Coliseum, where they had that King Concrete?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's cool, and getting to go run. You know, Lusiconi. Have you ever heard of Lusiconi? He was a super modified guy. He was awesome, dude. He's a legend from Pennsylvania. He's raced everything. I drive for him and a guy named Randy Burrows up at the Rumble in Fort Wayne, go up there, race against Tony and those guys. So getting to meet all those guys and run those midgets, man, it's been really cool. And I'll tell you what, speaking of like racing, when I got thrust into the 200 last year and I was in between you and Tim, and like Pop Pockets was freaking out, everybody was nervous. I'm like, man, I've been here. Like the indoor stuff, that's what's cool about indoor racing is you got the Justin Bonsignors of the world, Eric Rudolph, Briggs Danner, who's a big name now, Andy J, Ryan Priest, like all of those guys, it's a breeding ground for like half of them are in the Chili Bowl A main, right?
Yeah.
They're all killers. And you got to want the ball when you're in there with them. So it's the same way when like if you've been racing against Tim and everybody at Bowman Gray, when you go line up somewhere else, you're like, oh, I'm built for this. I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
So when are you going to have Tim on?
I don't know.
I don't know why you're looking at me.
I think we'll see.
Got to have Tim on here. That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
Everybody listen to that.
Yeah, we'll see.
That might be better suited for post retirement for both of you.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no, it's
Yeah.
good. It's good. I didn't mean to make it awkward.
No,
I kind of did.
It's it's hard to make me feel awkward.
Well,
The thing about it is me and Tim respect each other for what we do, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you might not like what I've got to say, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
And me and Tim used to be best friends back in the day, and then obviously when you start getting competitive against each other, that fades away. I don't like to be patronized. If you don't like me, you don't have to. Just leave me alone. So I don't want to be patronized, and I don't want to get into a situation where it is awkward, where if one of us feels a certain way, that we act like we don't feel a certain way. Not necessarily me.
You don't be fake
And I
to
don't
each
want
other.
to. I don't want to be in that situation because I'm not going to be that person, and so I don't want to. I don't want to be put in that situation.
We park next to each other there, and it seems like
Close.
it seems
We're
like
neighbors, but
it seems like you guys have raced each other pretty clean the last couple of years. Like there hasn't been any major incidents.
no.
Incidents.
I think that we both understand, like we was talking about earlier, how you can race at Bowman Gray. And we both understand that sometimes if it's not your night, don't make more out of it than you need to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still Bowman Gray Stadium. So you never know what's going to happen.
Have you ever, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask
All
this. I'm sorry to be asking questions on
You're
your
good,
podcast.
man. No, that's
Have you ever met the two donkeys that were named Bert and Jason at
they were
Chris
cows.
Fleming? Or were they
They
cows? I thought
No,
they
I
were.
never met them.
One's named Bert and this one's named
No,
Jason.
no, I
Corey
never-
must quote that once a week.
Does he?
When we were working on the race cars and everything growing up, after that happened, he's probably quoted it once a week for the last 10 years. Or however
No,
long
I've
it's
never
been.
met them. Never
Dang,
met them.
dang.
No, never met them.
I was hoping you were going to say, "Yeah, I just got done eating Jason last night."
No, I've
Bought
never
him,
met. I've
slaughtered him,
never
and
met
ate
the
him.
cows. No.
I mean, I'd bring them if I was him. I'd bring them and tie them up at the back of the trailer. That'd be a hell of a sight. I'd sell some T-shirts.
I've
Not
never
wrong
met them.
there.
Never met the cows.
Well, we look forward to seeing you come back to the stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That'll be fun. It's always good when good competition shows up. But I've always said, just for myself, there's certain guys over there I like to see show up. You know, you're one of them. I love when Danny Bone comes. I like when Jonathan Brown races. I think quality is much better than quantity. And watching racers get to race together is entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Watching clowns participate in a circus, not so much. But I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come in. We're not quite as on the same page as Stacking Pennies.
thank you.
but
I think you might be more. This is awesome here, man. I love it.
No,
And
thanks,
what you guys are building and everything you guys are doing is great.
Well,
Y'all probably feel the same way. Like 10 minutes into it, you forget you're in a podcast.
Yeah,
You're just
you're
sitting here, we're just BSing and talking racing. You know what I mean? So, when you love what you do, makes it fun. So,
Absolutely. And, it's not easy to do, put yourself out there and do this stuff, right? But it's important. And it's important for your sponsors. And it's just cool. It grows the sport, right? And,
Yeah.
and I think you put yourself out there because you put it up and you don't know if anybody's going to listen.
that's right.
You don't know if you're going to look like an idiot.
Right.
But you do it because you love the sport and you want to talk about it and you want to build it. And what you guys are doing is great. And it's really cool to see what you built.
thanks, man.
I enjoy hearing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that, not, the controversial stuff's great when we're not recording, but,
Yeah.
but just a lot of the processes and the things that go on that I never have any idea about. And maybe you're in the same boat too with some of it. But I think the podcast platform is good for the industry. I think it's good for the sport. I enjoy doing it because I get to pimp out all of his, all of his success by meeting all these, great folks. And,
Dude, and I've learned a lot from sitting across from people got to talk to Jimmy Johnson this week, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon and even Hocevar, listening to how they process stuff. And then you get to have a little BS before and after. And you get to learn from some of the greatest people in the sport that you never really get to talk to at the racetrack.
Right.
And it's really cool that the world has gone this way and we get to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, like I said too, is 10 minutes in, you forget you're in a podcast and you get to see people relax. They let their guard down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they just talk racing, man. Because, I mean, we're all racers. You know what I mean? And a lot of those guys, we call it they drank the Kool-Aid because they have to come across a certain way or have to present themselves a certain way. And a lot of times you get in a podcast and they just like you're sitting in a race shop.
That's it.
So that's what's cool to me about it.
Eat some Busch Light apples. It's a little early right now.
I got 12 cases at home.
Cameron Carter,
-1.
when we got Cameron Carter in here, and he was like, "You mind?" He was like,
That's the king of the concrete
like,
there,
yes, sir.
Cameron Carter. Yeah.
So yeah, look, we just want to have fun, man, and just talk racing and.
Well, the bummer is you could sit here and do it all day. Like we could sit here and talk about race. We could talk about stories all day long. About the bummer is you got to cut it off somewhere.
Right.
That's the crappy part.
Well, so do you have any new T-shirts coming up on RaceFangear.com?
We got the same one. I got a Mark Joyce and Scotty and the guys at MJ printing it, picking up a new batch this week. We got the first race we sold right, man. We had a rain out, so it kind of helped us with the rain out because we were low on T-shirts. Right. But yeah, got a new batch coming in. No new designs yet.
Okay. And you'll have they're on RaceFangear.com.
They're on
and
RaceFangear.com. We got hats, shirts, stickers, the whole 9 yards. But we'll also have them at the racetrack.
And you had mentioned there was an uptick in people requesting hero cards, and we just want to make sure folks knew.
Yep. Picked up a new batch yesterday.
Yeah, if you want hero cards, just go through RaceFangear.com. It's the easiest, most streamlined way to do it because he's in the shop, most of the time, taking care of business. So RaceFangear.com's, been great to help get that stuff out. This upcoming weekend at the stadium, Kevin Powell Motorsports 100.
Is it Kevin's race? I know it's a 100 lapper. You might be right. You might be right. But I know it's a 100 lapper. So.
Okay. Now we have to choose.
I'm looking for, I mean, listen, I take away all the BS that goes with Bowman Gray. I love racing there.
I think there's a lot. I think it gets the short end of the stick on that. Like I think there is anywhere you go, you're going to BS.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody's waiting for the highlight. I love Freddie, but Freddie wants to jump right on. Whenever there's a low light, you miss when you just focus on the 4-cylinder guys running into each other in the infield. You miss all the good that happened.
Right.
So some of it's earned, but in the world we live in, the clicks come from the bad stuff, and that's what everybody remembers.
Well, we're not quite. What was it, Weber Valley?
Oh, dude, they
kill me.
They kill me.
So funny.
Yeah, they kill me.
That's what people think, but it's not like that. I wouldn't go race there if it was like that.
Right.
I'm not that way.
But they do a good job marketing themselves.
Well, the biggest thing about Bowman Gray, and it's an anomaly. It really is, because the difference to me from Bowman Gray and all the other tracks that you might have some BS is it's like there's a gasoline can going just like this.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then it's like this because of the formula.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's because it's built around entertainment. But when you look at their car count and you look at their clicks and their views and their grandstands every week, how can you argue with it?
You can't.
So
if you want to see the ingredients for what makes Bowman Gray successful, go back and find our podcast with Greg Garrison.
Yeah,
because he didn't pull
lays
any
it out.
punches. And
he lays it out,
and he's a businessman and he's a promoter. And when those are your two things, your priorities are very different than that of a competitor or something else, but it explains a lot of it. If you want to see it firsthand, go to the stadium this weekend. If we don't get rain, green flag drops at 8. If you can't be there, check it out on Flow Racing. But as always, I want to make sure and thank our guest, Mr. Flores.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks Citrusafe Grill Cleaners for giving us this wonderful studio. Again, it's grilling season. Grill safely, clean safely. Don't use wire brushes. Get your scrubbers. Get your Citrusafe. You can get it at any of your major retailers. For those of you that are farmers, racers, you have big machinery, whatever, we've got a new product called Bryson Brothers Farm and Ag Cleaner. It's absolutely taken the commercial world by storm. It's magnificent. You can find out more at brysonshop.com. If you have some need for cleaners, degreasers, anything like that, we're going to send some home with Skip here and let him try it out. But as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you supporting short track racing, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.